I'm gonna start this off by saying not all 2-0 records are created equal. I think you guys understand what I'm getting at here. There are a few teams out there that are currently undefeated, much like the Chargers are, but I would say maybe only the Saints get what I'm putting out there as far as just the vibe of it. It's a different feeling when you have belief that your team can walk into any team's stadium and probably put foot to tail in the game with a dub and in convincing fashion. Now, you're going to get all of the criticism talking about who the Chargers have beat to this point, destitute Panthers team, questionable Raiders team, even though they did just upset the Baltimore Ravens, but that's a different story. But I digress. Got a few things that I want to touch on. So without further ado, y'all know who it is. I am Mr. TOP_FLYT3 and welcome to this week 3 edition of IG50Y. So let's get to the business. I should probably just prepare myself to have a weekly shout out ready for this man because I don't see things changing anytime soon. But yo, Uncle Jesse, have mercy. Let me go ahead and get this out of the way right up front. That is a quote from a 90s sitcom called Full House. Yes, I am dating myself, but a lot of the audience out there will already be familiar. For my Gen Zers and whatnot, go do your Googles. If you don't care, whatever. I did the homework for you, so don't even really worry about it. It's not important. But let's talk about what is. The Chargers, once again on Sunday, did some really amazing things on the defensive side of the ball to the tune of no first downs allowed on defense until just under 4 minutes left in the first half. Crazy. The Panthers only had one snap in the red zone for the entire game, which, by the way, now that I think about it, makes a total of 2 through the first 2 weeks because the Raiders were held to the same just last week. So stew on that. This is a squad that boasts a lot of the same players from last year and then like some misfit toys from other squads. And somehow, in a bit of a hodgepodge, because I mean, it's not all the same guys, I just told you that, but there's a lot of core pieces that still remain. Jesse Minter has figured out a way to make this all work together in one offseason. And Brandon Staley had multiple years and he was a guru. We really got conned, but this is not about that gentleman. Let him RIP out in San Fran or whatever the hell they got going on over there. This is about our team, new coaching, new staff, Chargers put money where it belonged, and you are seeing the rewards be reaped already. Now, it's only 2 weeks in, so we have to temper our expectations just a little bit, but for some strange reason, I don't feel like the defense is going to be part of any problems they have moving forward. And that's even if they end up having guys go out for any extended period of time, because guess what else they have there? Depth. It's a beautiful thing. Competency, that is. But you know how we give it up over here on this side. We always gonna keep it a buck. And to be completely honest and transparent with you, yesterday wasn't all Hallmark cards, hugs, and rainbows, right? Somebody's got tap 10 on his shoulder and let him know that sometimes less is more. And I don't know if he's trying to do too much now that he's being asked to do less, if that makes any sense. But it feels like he thinks every time he drops back to toss the pill, he's got to make a play of some sort. Now, it could maybe just be boring now, only getting 20 to 25 attempts when you're accustomed to tossing it around the yard 35 to 40 times a game and having to play hero ball, but that ain't the case anymore. Just hand that thing off to JK Scott while he's the hot hand and watch him do his thing, because for the last 2 weeks it's been poetry in motion. But again, this is not the Justin Herbert that he's accustomed to having to be for the last few years, and it's going to take him a little while to maybe settle into that role. They're going to draw up plays where you can take your shots, a la the TD pass to Quentin Johnston, but you can't force them. Like, that pass was so wrong for so many reasons, one being that it wasn't necessary. They weren't in a desperation situation. situation. And then secondly, I mean, the area was far too congested. There were multiple receivers who looked like, at that point, since the play had been extended, they didn't really separate and like kind of break camp away from their routes to give Justin more options to throw the ball to in different areas of the field. And I would much rather him had like tuck the ball, try to get a few yards out of that, or really and truly just chuck that thing out of bounds and live to fight another down. I promise you, dude, it's okay. Y'all are my folks out there, and I really appreciate you, but your boy's gonna ask a favor of you. I don't ask much, but if you can help me out, it would be greatly appreciated. If y'all could drop the location of whatever lab they put Robo Dobbins back together in, I would really, really be thankful for it, because your boy's dealing with everything now at 41. I mean, I'm talking about the knees, my shoulders doing this weird popping thing in the morning. Popping like Chris Brown. It's wild. It's making going to the gym a little bit more difficult. Like, I have to do real intensive warming up before I get started. Look, these are personal issues, but for real, if you know where Dobbins got his situation situated, holla at me. I could use the assistance. But for real though, we're talking about a back now who's rushed for 130 yards in consecutive games. Now, he is the first Chargers back to have done this since one of the good Lord's most special gifts to the running back position, one LaDainian Tarshain Tomlinson. And it's starting to kind of feel like inevitable every game that Dobbins is going to pop for a long one at some point. Like, they'll wear on you. He'll get like 4 or 5. It'll be 6 here, then like another 3, another 5, and then bang. And it's feeling like it's going to be a reoccurring thing every week. Now, they're going to go against stiffer competition, and it may take a little bit longer to happen. But if he continues to build up this stamina, which is what I told folks out there that were talking about, oh, he lost the explosiveness. He doesn't have that gear anymore. No. I think you're seeing it, and you saw it in week 1. The difference was he just didn't have the gas to complete those runs. Now, you saw a 40-plus run this past week where he made a guy miss in the open field. And just for good measure, just to let y'all know, to get off his scrotum, cut him a break, he hit you with a nice little front flip into the end zone, which I wouldn't advise for somebody who's been through as much as he has. But yo, if he feels like stunting, let the man do it. He's on a roll right now, and he's thankful that he gets to play the game that he loves so much. Now, if we can get this version of JK Dobbins for an entire season, sky's the limit for that run game, because I do believe Gus Edwards is just kind of working his way into the fold. Keep in mind, Gus Bus was not available during the offseason. He was working through something. We still don't know exactly what that is, but you can see it. It's taken him a little while to get up to speed. He doesn't have the same explosiveness as JK. He never will. But the fact that he seems like he's taking some shots and being knocked backwards, and I'm not really used to seeing that from Gus Edwards, but give him some time. This ain't about Gus. He'll work his way into the fold. Again, this is kind of like his preseason, at least those first 2 games where I expect him to get better. But what Dobbins is doing is some unprecedented stuff based off of what he came from. So enjoy it, relish in it, and hopefully we get to see more of it. And I cannot wait to see it matched up against better defenses, because I think it's going to bring out even more of the best in him. For the last few years that I've been doing this whole Chargers commentary thing, some of you folks have gotten to know your boy a little bit, and I've shared some nuggets here and there about me personally, but not everything. I mean, you got to have some mystique about you. But there's one thing I may not have ever expressed. I'm sure you probably picked up on this without me having to tell you, but in the event you are new here, I'm not a people pleaser. Don't care to be. Never have, never will. The reason why is because someone can ask something of you and you can give it to them, right? But then they'll still complain about the way you did it, like the process, which really shouldn't matter to them if you're fulfilling the request, right? And that's kind of sort of what's happening here with the Chargers. Like, I'm seeing a bunch of folks complain about the fact that they're playing the long game. Look, man, this is your team, specifically on offense. You better learn to love it or go cry in the car about it. But I ain't trying to hear it. A lot of us aren't either. It's going to be about ball control, time of possession, third and manageable to third and short situations where they're going to have to be really efficient. They're going to be a bunch of running game investments early on for late game return on investment, ROI. And they're probably going to be more horizontal than vertical in the passing game, especially until DJ Chark comes back. But ultimately, they're just going to stick to the script until forced to do otherwise, because if it ain't broke, why are you trying to fix it? Which leads me back to my point about not being a people pleaser, because some folks just won't ever be satisfied. If you wanted to say the first 2 weeks of the season has been like a tune-up of sorts, I can feel you on that. You'll get no pushback from me. But if you want like my outlook on the next couple weeks, a forecast of sorts, here's kind of what I'm predicting. Cloudy with a chance of violence. It's going to get spooky outside really soon. The Chargers have to go up to Pittsburgh and play the Steelers, and you know their brand of football pretty similar to what the Chargers now stand on. But let's be honest, the league knew what the hell it was doing giving the Chiefs a Chargers squad fresh off a likely Hell in a Cell type match against the Steelers a week prior. But let's not get into what the league does for the Chiefs, because I'll put my tinfoil hat on and we can go all day about that. But what I want to see here coming up against this Steelers squad is, can the offense adapt? Because my major question for the time being is, what's going to happen when a defense has the ability to stack the box with 8 and give your receivers hell on the outside? What kind of adjustments can you make? And then next up, who's going to raise their hand to be Herbert's primary target? Josh Palmer seemed like the easy answer, but he's been a bit nicked up. So, still wondering how that's going to work out. Ladd McConkey seems like he's ready and willing to be someone who can be a target monster. I foresee that happening down the line, but I didn't think it would have to happen so early. But when Ladd gets the ball in his hands, he's not just some, make you miss and then get down as quickly as you can. Lance shows some grit. Lance, I have a cousin named Lance. I actually talked to him earlier. He's a Saints fan. Dude went on for almost 20 straight minutes about the Saints and who they are as opposed to who the Chargers are. But again, I digress, getting off the topic here. Ladd McConkey isn't just, again, a smallish receiver afraid of contact. Ladd fights for yards after contact. After he gets the rock in his hands, he tries to be dangerous. He's not a dude that's looking to get out of bounds or get down. He showed some of that last week against the Panthers. So he might be, one of the guys looking to raise his hand and step up. Could it be Quentin Johnston? Maybe? Is QJ growing up? 2 TDs. I think he led the team in receptions and yards. I mean, it was clearly a career day, and he looked confident. Again, man, competent coaching and player development. We all look, I know there are a few wackos out there that ignored some of QJ's issues, as evident as they were. But the truth of the matter is that we all felt like QJ might be leaning towards the B word. And let's be completely honest. If they didn't make major coaching changes, then that probably could have been a real possibility still. But the truth of the matter is now QJ looks like a different player. And you can attribute it to, and I keep saying this, it's not just about the players getting better because they just want to give their all to their craft. They don't want to let Jim Harbaugh down. There's a different feeling around that organization with that type of leadership, man. When you have a coach that's proven like that, guys have a point to prove. They want to make a case to stay around, because if you don't produce, you're gonna get gone. You're gonna be kicking rocks. You'll be looking for a new residence and another team to find playing time on, because Jim Harbaugh don't play that, man. So I'm not gonna say that QJ's absolutely going to become a primary wide receiving target as like a wide receiver 1. I still don't see that ceiling for him. If it happens, I'm not going to say I will be completely shocked, because I drink the Harbaugh Kool-Aid and I feel like the man can basically walk on water. So until he proves me wrong, I'm rolling with that. But QJ, I love what I saw from him in week 1 and last week as well. So let's see him continue to develop. But this game's going to be a real test for him as far as physicality is concerned, because like I said before, it's the Steelers and we know how they get down. So that's going to be it for me, folks. I appreciate you tuning in. Per usual, you know who it is. And the whole crew will be back at it for After Hours on Sunday post game. Also check out Jamie and Garrett. Garrett with Score More and Jamie with the walkthrough throughout the week. We appreciate you again. Love you folks. And until the next time, be easy. Come on.